Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel, Self-Publishing 101 with Lorenzo Monza. And if you like my videos, please subscribe and click the bell so I can notify you of any and all new videos. I also created a new group page on Facebook, and we can talk about anything about self-publishing, from your book to covers to what's happening in the industry, other platforms, and so forth. Just go to Facebook, and in the search box type in the symbol at LCPM1956, at LCPM1956, and we can talk about everything about self-publishing. Things are changing all the time, and I have lots of different sources for information, so anything I can pass on to you or you can pass on to me would be cool, and others. You know, we get a community of people, and we kind of just go back and forth and talk about the different questions and different things that are happening almost, like I said, daily with self-publishing. Things are really moving along pretty quickly. So yesterday we did a video on formatting, and it was a little bit of a complicated video, and I kind of thought, well, you know, I should probably maybe simplify it even more. I like to make my videos and my whole, you know, page, my channel, for people that are just kind of starting out and haven't really done this before, because that's what happened to me like 2 years ago. And literally I was very frustrated because I was so close and yet so far away. And I don't know how I got to the point I did now, but I've been able to publish 2 books with 3 or 4 others that are all in the works. That another one will be coming out shortly. It's a journal, which is really cool. My first journal, and it's a weather journal. So I went on Amazon. I looked at journals and things, notebooks on weather, and I was like, I don't like any of these. Would I use this if I wanted to track the weather and stuff? So I got a weather station, and I started, like, you know, it was all digital graphic. It had like a colored monitor, but I wanted to write everything down, and so I wasn't happy with what I saw, because I wanted to buy like a journal, and then I created my own. So that'll be coming out. Plus one on composting, and one on self-publishing, and one on a kid story. That's a really cool story I've been working on for a long time, on and off for 5 years. Okay, so I imagine I love to talk, don't I? So let's get into the simplified version of formatting. Literally like the bare bones, but it will have your book formatted. So again, we go on to KDP, we go down to where it says prepare, publish, and promote, and then we go down to paperback, manuscript, templates, and we click that. We come up to this page, and there's a video here that you can watch, but don't follow that video, follow my video, because I took this video and kind of put it in, fixed all the glitches that this video will transpose to Word that you need to fix. Okay, so you have templates that I showed you on the last video, and these are the size books that you're formatting to. So I think if you're not in these measurements, then your book is going to have problems on Amazon. So you have to kind of pick one of these to have your paperback printed on. I like 5.5 by 8.5, though they say 6 by 9 is the standard. Then it gives you a formula for trim size without bleed and with bleed. And bleed is if you're putting, you know, graphics or drawings or whatever on your pages and you want them to fill the whole page, you have to add this formula. And they give it to you, like 5.5 by 8.5 would be 5.626 by 8.75. So they've kind of like said, you know, here, this is what you need if you want to do A or B. So they help you along, and I'm going to show you how to, if you don't know, how to put this information into your formatting to get your book formatted. So we are going to go into a template, which I already brought up, which is a basic template. So let's We've already clicked it, but let's just, for the purposes of just kind of trying to lead you to the water and not throw you in it like a lot of videos do. I kind of do like to take my time, because I want you to be able to follow it, or if you have to look at it a second time, it'll be like, okay, I understand what he's talking about. So you have your manuscript done. You've done it like I do on Word by, say, 8.5 by 11 size page, which is a great way to write a story. And now you've edited it and you've spell checked it, and you went over it up and down and sideways, and you're like, this is it, I'm ready to go. But it's too big. I don't want a book that big. I want a book, we're going to just say 8.5 or 5.5 by 8.5, sorry. So 5.5 by 8.5 book. So we're going to go in and we're going to cheat and copy their the way they set up their margins and so forth and their layout, and put that into our manuscript that we have written and ready to go, but we need to format it. So I've already set the page up. So now this is what you do. So right now this is a 5.5 by 8.5 manuscript. It's a single page, but let's just pretend this was, you know, the full manuscript. This is what the finished product would look like if it had all your chapters and pages on it. But we want to like say, well, right now I'm in an 8.5 by 11, and I want to change it to this size. So what do I do to change it? So we're going to use this as like a cheat sheet. I use my camera and take pictures of what I'm going to show you, so I can reference it back, and then I don't have to try to write it down or remember it. So we're going to go to page layout. We're going to go to margins, and we're going to click that. We're going to go down to where it says custom margins at the very bottom of the margins window. And when we click it, here are the margins that we need to have to set our 8.5 by 11 book to format it to this size. So I took pictures of this, and I'm going to just show you real quick. You're going to want to take everything here, but we're going to make one change. We're going to go in and unclick the different odd and even and the different first page and the selection. We're going to put new column, and we're going to put this to 0 and that to 0, and we're going to leave that at top. So let's just go, we'll go back over this again. So we'll go backwards now. Look at your layout. Take a picture of this, and then go to your paper, take a picture of that, and then go to your margins and take a picture of that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just go to our manuscript. Now I'm going to just do one page, and it's going to be a blank, but just pretend the one page is a whole book. And I'm going to show you how to change it. So you don't have to copy paste. You've already got everything on the page. You've already got everything set the way you want it, and so forth. So we're going to go into Microsoft Office, and we're going to find Word, and we're going to open our page up. And I'm just going to show you real quick that we're going to go out to page layout and go to margins. And we're going to look at what we have here. So we have a 8.5 by 11, and we want to change our margins, our layout, and our gutter, and our size of our paper to the size that we're going to be printing our book on. So let's go back. I'm sorry that I'm being repetitive here, but now we're just going to go to pretend this blank page there's the first page of 238 pages and 40 chapters, and so everything's here, but it's just not the size we want our book. So what I did was I used my phone, so I cheated, and my phone is running out of power here. So we wanted to change this because we use this when we took the picture of 0.76 and 0.76 is what we got, and our gutter was 0.14, and our bottom was 0.76, and our right was 0.6, and we left that there. We want this to be mirror margins. There you go. And then, so now we've got this set up on our manuscript that hasn't been formatted, but we're formatting it as we go. We're going to go to the next setting, which is paper, and that's the size, and we're going to change that to, we're just going to type this in 5.5 because that's the book by 8.5. Okay, so now we have the size that our pages are going to be, and this will also be the size that our cover and back cover are going to be, and everything else is okay. Then we're going to go to layout, and again we want to change, we want to make sure that's not checked, and I'm just going to put this to 0 and that to 0, and we're going to check before I run out of battery power. Sorry, I'm getting messages here. Very unprofessional. And here we go. Let's see. Okay, so that we changed, and then we want our new, so we want this to be new column and top. So let's go over this again. Let's look at our margins. I'm just going to double check. That's right. And we're going to go to our paper, and that's 5.5 by 8.5. And we're going to go to our layout. And I'm referring to the picture on my phone that I took. And that's, everything's there. So I can get rid of my phone. I wish I looked smarter than I acted, but I have to cheat as much as I can. So now we're going to, okay, and it's going to change our book now to, everything should be formatted into a 5.5 by 8.5. Margin should be set. Everything should be the way your book will print out when you read it as a book. And then we're just going to make sure, we're going to go to layout and just double check that that's the size we wanted. That looks right. That looks right, and that's exactly what we want. So now our book, if we had this filled with text, you know, our story, this would be ready to go to the next level with KDP, where we'd upload our manuscript and then preview our manuscript, which means you're looking at it, making sure everything looks good. You can even, you know, once you get your cover, and before you publish it, you can actually have a copy sent to you, and exactly, you do the author's copy. It looks exactly like what a customer would get when they buy your book, and you can check it again, like literally, like say, well, I'm going to take another week and read it page to page and check again for any mistakes. And then when you're happy, boom, you put it on Amazon for sale. And then you go and start working on your ebook, because you have to convert your ebook different than a paperback book, which is a whole nother can of worms and a whole nother video that we'll do. But you know, the thing is, get your book out, get your paper book out, get a copy in your hands. You know, be proud of what you have. You know, it's a labor of love. Feel proud of yourself that you're an author and you're on Amazon for sale. And then you can work on your ebook, and then you can look into marketing and keywords and so forth. And you really do have to work on selling your book. Most of the time it's not going to sell on its own unless you're already an established author and you have, you know, a following of people as far as on a blog, or you're on a podcast, or you have a huge email list or a good size email list. You go to bookstores and promote your book, do readings, go to libraries. I mean, there's tons of things you can do, but marketing is really important. Like I've said, it's like me giving you $1,000 and saying play the stock market for me, and then you don't know anything about the stock market and come back a year later and say, how much did we make? And you go, we lost money, or we haven't made any money. But if you knew what you were doing with the stock market, you would know how to make better chances of finding more success with investing the money. And the same thing is with marketing. You learn what your best ways of promoting your book. Now, when you promote your book, it doesn't mean, it's going to sell. It has to be the story. You have people that read science fiction or romance and whatever. And if you wrote a book in one of those genres, then you have a good chance of selling your book if it's good. So it just kind of, there's a lot of, it's not just printing a book and it's done and it's going to sell on its own. There's a lot of work you have to put into it. Almost like, I'm going to say 3-4 days a week I spend on trying to figure things out, learning things, going on group pages, listening to other people, their success stories, their failures, what they did to increase sales, what seasons they sell more books. Maybe they decided they were going to redo their cover on their book, so they took the old book off and they just kind of took it off of Amazon and said, I'm going to relaunch this book with a new cover and a new title. And same inside, the story is the same, but you want to kind of give it a new look. And you have to take it off Amazon and kind of upload it as a new book with a different ISBN, and your old book has to kind of disappear. So you can, and I've known people that have taken their books that have done fairly well and then they just kind of slowed down. They gave it a more modern cover, they learned more about creating covers, and they said, I think this is better, and they fixed the description of the book a little bit better, and maybe the title they cleaned up a little bit, and all of a sudden their book's now selling again like it was the first day. So it's never dead unless you want it to be dead. So you can always revive it. It's like you can keep it going and going and going until either that genre people are tired of. And so it's just up to you. All right, so that's it. I think we did it.